Guys, I'm pretty happy today. The Vancouver Canucks, who are playing the Buffalo Sabres, are not going to play Elias Pettersson. However, they are going to play Thatcher Demko. And this video is just a little bit of a heads up. I'm not going to watch the game tonight. I have other important life things to attend to, some friends that I have to meet up with, so I'm not going to watch this hockey game. With that being established though, I kind of wanted to give an editorial-like take, less of a journalistic standpoint on things. Not that I claim that I'm a journalist or whatever, but I wanted to talk about the path and the story of Thatcher Demko, because he's already played himself one NHL game in the past. That was a victory, and now it finally looks like he's going to be in. In as in completely involved with the Vancouver Canucks. Not just in this game, which is literally in, but in as in the guy who's propelling ourselves forward in the goaltending position. Thatcher Demko, I remember when he was taken 36th overall in the 2014 draft. That was almost 5 years ago. Man, that's crazy to think about. And I remember the big story about Demko in that 2014 NHL draft was that he was most arguably the best goaltender in that class, but he wasn't the first goaltender drafted. That honor belongs to Mason McDonald, who went 2 picks earlier to the Calgary Flames at 34th overall. The reason McDonald went first and Demko didn't was because Demko was coming off of some surgeries that I think there was speculation amongst NHL teams that was giving off a narrative that said that Demko would probably be set back by these injuries and the process that it would take to recover. Thus, Demko was the second goaltender taken in this draft. The third goaltender was taken a pick after Demko. That was Alex Nedeljkovic for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Demko has been on a steady path, and I think that's the biggest thing that I have to give props to the Canucks for, is the fact that they took so long to develop him. I remember when he was drafted, the mock rosters started putting themselves out on articles like the Hockey News, etc. There were many articles that said, okay, Demko is probably going to be a full-time guy. Let's say 2017. Let's say 2018, early 2018. And we've had to wait a little bit longer than that. We've had a little bit of a goaltender mishap with guys like Anders Nilsson and Jacob Markstrom sharing the load, Nilsson getting sent away for Mike McKenna. We had, of course, the whole Luongo-Schneider thing that was a little bit earlier into the timeline. Obviously, Luongo was gone by the time we drafted Demko, but there was always this idea that Demko would come in and be the next great goaltender for the Canucks, and for the most part, he's done nothing to disprove that argument. Now, he finished things off in 2014 with Boston College, and he finished off 2 more years over there with some really good numbers. Obviously, I think everybody kind of remembers that. He played with Utica for a few years, had some really stellar numbers over there, and this season he started things off very shakily with some concussion problems, but he eventually got over that hump, and now he's called up foreseeably as the full-time backup for the Vancouver Canucks, and let's face it, the eventual starter, once Jacob Markstrom finds himself in a different position. Now, I know that Clay Emo has talked about in his video how Demko can have a Luongo-type impact on the Vancouver Canucks, at least that's the plan, and I'm very much agreeing with that as well, but I'd also like to bring up Corey Schneider, because everybody kind of remembers Corey Schneider and how he was for the Canucks, which was extraordinarily good. Like, he was on the brink of becoming a top 7 NHL goaltender by the time he was traded to New Jersey, and Schneider's path to the NHL was very similar, if not extraordinarily identical, to Demko's development. Both were guys taken by the Canucks in the 2030 range of their drafts. Schneider was drafted and he went straight over to Boston College, where he played 3 years and ended up with some extraordinary stats. Then he came over to the Manitoba Moose, played a few seasons there before finally becoming a full-time Vancouver backup in 2010-2011. By the time 2013 concluded, Schneider was traded to the Devils. And Demko is on a very similar trajectory. It looks like now it's his time to step into the NHL and stay there. And as somebody who's been following the Canucks for a long time, I've been looking at the articles, reading all the prospect lists. Demko is supposed to be in the Canucks by 2017. Cole Castles is probably going to be on the Canucks by 2016. Jordan Subban is going to be on the Canucks maybe in 2017, 2018. I was reading all of those back in the day. And I say back in the day like I'm old. I'm 18. I've spent almost an entire quarter of my life witnessing Demko and his development in the Vancouver Canucks organization, in Boston College, and in Utica. Coming from a young fan, it's completely rad to see this development and how it's working out. Because we've seen it statistically work out for guys like Schneider, and now Demko is coming in himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Demko time. And I've made that joke quite a few times on Twitter, on my YouTube videos, but it's finally Demko time. Catch Demko against the Buffalo Sabres, and let's hope for a good one in his first start as a full-time NHL player. Hope you guys enjoyed this video plus gaming, and bye.